Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Hey, what is happening out there in YouTubeville? Nobody's watching. Oh, well, we'll see if people pop in. What's happening? I'm your host, Jeff, here at the Gas Mask Crypt, and I got this guy with me. He's one of those directions. And he's wearing his immolation shirt. Mine are already in the, well, I pulled them out of the wash, so we're going to get to that. We got Rick, what are we here for? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? I'm just bugging you and pissing you off and agitating you.
I thought we were just testing to see how many people show up on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. We know it's cool. We are in. First of all, we need to note something. I don't know if you notice it, but I sure as hell notice it. We are in 1080p. For the first time ever, we are in high definition on the channel with StreamYard, because StreamYard has changed. They were bought by somebody or sold to somebody, and they've decided to do a whole bunch of cool stuff, like make everything 1080p depending on your, well, I think all the program or all their levels are now 1080p now. And I noticed when I came in, that was the first thing that popped up. But here's the other thing they did. They're jacking their fucking price up to $45 a month as of January 1st. So we will be likely switching streaming platforms before then, if I'm still doing this at that point. But yeah, I found that out today, that they're changing all kind of additions and cool things they've added. But like, for example, if you have the executive level, there is you can have 25 people waiting in your green room, so you can start bouncing people in and out in the green room, which is, well, we don't need that, but I wouldn't need that. But that'd be, that's probably for like a business that has a whole lot.
I'm trying to imagine that scenario.
Yeah,
but it's not. Everything's going up, man. It's. I mean, we all knew this. Like, the bridge tolls are going up. Like all the city shit's going up.
So you're parking.
Like we're at a time now. Like I can't go anywhere and I pay less than $10 for a burger.
Yeah,
like it's talking stupid.
Yeah, it's and I don't want to get into the whole political thing, but that's where a lot of people like to go, and they say certain things which we're not going to get into because I'll get heated about it. But
I think most of it doesn't have to. I mean, greedflation is a real thing, and things are jacked up when they don't have to be.
Right,
they'll go up, but then there's a little extra on the top, a little more cream to it. Let's just say that.
But speaking about something that was not hyperinflated, goddamn, dude, I haven't drank anything since Saturday night.
I'm doing the teams. I'm going extra hard on it.
I didn't even drink that much on Saturday night, but man, I can't even think about alcohol. So, okay, so what are we here for, Rick? Tell us why we're here tonight. You know why we're here.
Yeah. What's up, Tim? What's up, Ryan? Evan? Those watching. Decibel. If you're in the U.S. in particular, like it's one of the few actual print magazines you can still buy that's widely in circulation. It's right here in Philly, which are more local boys to us, right? A little over an hour away for you, right here near me.
Yep. And
they're celebrating 20 years. This was a magazine that was one of the co-founders, by Albert, right?
Albert Mudrian, yeah. Listen, man. Albert, if you do catch this, major props to you, dude. You do it well and you do it right. Thank you for everything that you do.
Yep. And I think that this particular lineup it's pretty has a nice mix of variety, but also a good representation of the long-standing bands and newer bands who kind of shape what this magazine's about.
A lot of Philly bands too. A lot of Philly bands, which is really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. We should say the lineup. The lineup was Rid of Me. I think they're a local band, Philly band. Death Death Evocation.
That's
I don't know where they're from. Do you know? I don't know.
Probably should have researched this before.
Sure, research. Sorry, guys. We didn't check that out.
They were the opening bands.
Krieg, which is a long-standing black metal outfit. Mainly Neil Jameson is
Or
kind of
Jersey, but so pretty.
I think Jersey, right? And then we had Philly's own Crypt Sermon, Philly's own Horrendous, and New Jersey, New York's Immolation, and Northern NorCal's San Diego. Thank you, Evan. Northern California's Top C. So here's the deal. Like when I saw this announced, this lineup, and I think it was shortly, maybe 3 months ago, probably, right? 3.5 months ago.
It was around right before summer kicked off.
Right.
There was like the teasers. They sent all the teasers. This
maybe right around Maryland Death Fest or in that range. It came out the lineup, and I said to Rick, I said, dude, unless I'm fucking dead, which we never know with me day to day, we're going to that. Okay, even if I have to go in a coffin, we're going. So I twisted Rick's arm, not too hard though.
Well, I was ready to rent a hearse, and just kind of drag you down there, and be like, maybe we would have got VIP parking. I mean, it's like
that would have been interesting for sure. But yeah, so
we're already wearing black.
What's that?
We're already wearing black, so it doesn't matter.
Very true. We were all wearing black, always. And we kind of, for Rick, it's a fairly easy hometown sort of run for us. For me, an hour and 20 minutes. For Rick, you're right across the bridge, so 30 minutes, 20 minutes probably at most. And this lineup was just too good to pass up. And so I grabbed my ticket maybe about a month ago. And before we get into the lineup and the whole, the setting it up, I want to set up a little bit here. I grabbed my ticket maybe 3 weeks ago because what's going on with my health, I never like to get overly ahead of my skis. And so I grabbed my ticket, and there was 3 options. You could buy the standard generalized ticket, or you could buy the there was a pre-show called the Bowl with the Bands and the magazine thing that started 2 hours before the actual show started. And then if you really wanted to go kind of crazy, you could get the VIP thing where there was like a lounge off to the side of the stage and you had this sort of roped off special area. Way too pricey for me, just personally. No offense to
Those
Albert.
concerts did look comfortable though.
Yeah, they did look comfortable. You're right. Yeah.
But for the 100, whatever they're asking for that, like
we did end up over there after the show was over, so we'll get to that in a minute. But I grabbed the regular ticket, and then I grabbed the pre-show bowling thing, which we'll get to in a second about what
we should probably mention the Brooklyn Bowl. It's actual
bowling alley.
Two floors. And the
big stage upstairs, really big stage, really nice stage up there. Probably holds, I think, around, I thought I saw somewhere between 12 and 1,500, which is because it goes way off to one side. You probably can't see the stage well from way over in that one side, but it's a big area.
Well, you informed me, Brooklyn Bowl, it's like a chain, right?
Right.
And again, this is the only one I've been to. I wasn't aware. I guess does every city have one, or every other major city, or something like that?
Yeah.
So they usually a venue, or is it just kind of just some of them, more or less? I don't know if you know or not.
What? Say again? Is it what?
It's Brooklyn Bowl. Like, are they all like venues?
Yeah. They all do live shows. And Maddie, my daughter Maddie, works at the one in Nashville one day a month, and they do very similar layouts, the whole 9 yards. They're kind of like Hard Rock cafes, except for they're based around bowling. So the real quick setup to this is that the Friday night, Rick is on with Marty and Dennis doing heavy metallurgy. I am having a lot of issues with insomnia with my health issues, and so I sleep a lot during the day. And this particular day, Friday, I'm like, I was awake. I don't know what my hours were on Thursday, but they were fucking stupid. And long story short, I ended up like trying to push myself Friday to stay awake until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, so that I woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning. Well, that plan didn't work too well. I fell asleep at like 2:30 and woke up at like 11 o'clock that night. got on with the Heavy Metallurgy crew and dropped a few comments in there. And about, I don't know, an hour later, Rick hits me up with, hey, jump on with us. We're hanging out in the backstage area. So I jump on with him and Marty Worm and Dennis Analog Archives. And the next thing you know, I'm like to myself, I'm only going to stay on an hour. I'm only going to talk for an hour. And next thing you know, 2 hours, 3 hours, almost 4 hours.
Those are the famous Jeff last words.
Yeah, exactly. So 4 o'clock in the morning, Rick dipped out because he was pretty hammered. He dipped out around 3.
Man, and then I had to get some sleep. If I'm going to be functional, like, and with this shit going on, like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And then we went. I went. Marty and myself and Dennis went another hour, and then I got off, and I was wound up, man. I was up and wide awake. So I tried to sleep a couple different times, but due to pain issues and all kind of other stuff that I deal with, I could not fall asleep. And I ended up driving to Philadelphia, already being awake at that point, about 14 hours. And I'm like, holy fuck, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it through this? Well, I did. I made it through. I would not suggest ever doing what I did, staying up 31 hours round trip. That's dangerous to be on the road that way. There you go. So
you need caffeine and don't take any edibles.
Yeah. And so long story short, I get out of here way later than I wanted to, and I'm ending up heading down. And the worst traffic was up here near where I live in Lancaster. It actually wasn't down in Philly, which was really odd. And so I got down there and I kind of raced down there, and I was pretty wound up. I'm sure my blood pressure was stroke level shit. I got to the show, or I got to the venue, and I went in about 2:45. And I'm looking around and I see no one bowling. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, all right, that's weird. And then I remembered, oh, wait, there's bowling alleys upstairs on the far end over there.
Yep.
So I go upstairs, I'm walking up the stairs, and Jamie from Horrendous is coming in. I was like, yeah, Jeff, what's up? And I said, do you guys have your merch up yet? And he's like, yeah. Come on up. So I went up. Matt was up there, and Alex and Damien. So I hung out with the Horrendous dudes, ran into Brooks and Enrique from Crip Sermon, ran into Tanner Anderson, Crip Sermon. And so I got to talking to those guys. Rick was not there yet. Rick was smart. Rick did not buy the pre-show bowling thing, which my only criticism of the whole thing would be, get rid of that thing. If you're not bowling with the bands, then don't advertise it as such, because no bands bowled. I don't know if any of the Decibel people. I think the Decibel people were in one corner.
It was only 2 hours, right? So It was like 2 o'clock, and that was another reason too. I didn't think it was gonna make it. I didn't make it down 2 o'clock anyway. So it's like it would have been a waste of a ticket.
Well, I didn't make it till 3, but yeah.
Yeah. So even if you got the hour in, it's still kind of a stretch. Another $50. And like I said, my highest bowling score is like 90. So like I'm just gonna go there, just embarrass myself.
I just put the bumpers up. Yeah, I'd probably put the bumpers up.
Yeah, that's probably the safe way to go.
I will say the one thing that was an advantage was that the general admission crowd was not allowed in until 4 o'clock. And what it allowed me to do was go in, hobnob with my friends in Crip Sermon and Horrendous, talk to Alex Books from Immolation, and I got to see the Immolation sound check, which was really fucking cool. Went down, talked to Alex, which was really, really cool. Hey, John, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again, man. I did see you there. I saw your wife. I was going to walk up and say something, but I don't know why I didn't. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But I did see you there. I believe you're the fairly tall guy with the kind of almost white hair, not quite blonde. It's more white. I believe that was you. So anyways, long story short, got to see the MO sound check and talk to Alex. And then I walked around and got my merch without anybody. It was like I didn't have to fight anybody to get it.
It's very fitting timing because you just interviewed Alex.
I just did last week. Right.
Before that.
Right.
So it was like it kind of came in synchronicity just right. And, so they were still fresh on your mind. Yeah,
and it was cool. Alex knew me right away. I was like, hey, man, great to see you. And unfortunately, he had to leave early. I talked to him after yesterday, and I said, "Hey, man, I missed you, dude. I don't know where'd you go?" And he's like, "Well, I had friends there, and I had to get out of there quick. I had to get home, so I didn't get to talk to him later. But we'll get to all the luminaries we got to talk to with some pictures here in a minute." So again, Rick and I are there. When Rick gets there, I go down and meet him. I've already had 2 beers. What was that beer called, dude?
It was Turbo Reaper.
Turbo Reaper from Three Floyds. Holy shit!
Yeah, it had an actual Reaper on it. It was like nice and purple. And
Yeah,
those went right. Those pretty much sold all out.
They sold out. Yeah.
Ones.
Well, initially when I got there, I was looking for one of the Crip Sermon beers, and the girl upstairs like, "Well, we don't have them. They're downstairs." So I went downstairs, and then my legs and my hips and my problems with my health.
Which one is
those stairs is rough 18 times until I discovered they had a fucking elevator, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the old man thing. We hit that a couple times, but went looking for the Crip Sermon beer, and then I ended up going downstairs and being like, and he's like, "Well, I don't have it. It's upstairs." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I ended up being like, "Look, just give me that. Looks good. Give me a Turbo Reaper." And I gotta say, that beer was really fucking good. I want to get some of those to have at the house if I can find them. I think Three Floyds is that a Maryland brewery or a Philly brewery?
Shit. Don't remember.
Anyway,
I'm on the site now, so maybe it'll say
Three Floyds Turbo Reaper, kick ass, man. And there was a lot of cool beers there that just I didn't. At $10 a can of beer, I was like, yeah, I'm not getting fucked up tonight, no way. And so Rick got there, we grabbed the beer, we decided to get some food. We got some food, and it took a little while. And then as we were sitting there, the first band came on, and
based out of Indiana, it says here.
Oh, Indiana. Okay, wow. Okay. Yeah, John, you should have asked Rick and I. We'd have gone and got pizza. Just kidding, man. So anyway, we ended up sitting downstairs eating dinner through the first 2 bands. Okay, that was just kind of how it worked out. I hadn't eaten all day. I needed to get food in my stomach.
You didn't know when we were going to come on. That was the thing.
Right.
We were already sitting down, and then that's when Rhythmy, boom, started their set. We thought it was somebody talking in a loudspeaker. I'm sure.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird, man. No, not the Crip Sermon beer, John. I know that one is. That's Attic Brewery. We're talking about Three Floyds Brewery was the Turbo Reaper. So we're sitting there, and we hear somebody going, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was on the TV or like a recording, and it was like, la, 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 la. And he's like, this dude is like screaming into the mic and like super dramatic. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Rick and I are looking at each other like, what is going on, man? Like, what weirdness is happening here, right? Turns out it was the guy that did the intro, and then Rid of Me came on. And Rid of Me is a local band, I believe. And I believe someone in the band works for Decibel. Am I wrong about that or right about that? I believe I'm right.
Yeah, I think I read there's some kind of connection.
There's a connection, yeah.
A staffer or an ex-staffer or somebody related to the staffer.
Right.
Something there. Something
related. I have to admit, I know nothing about this band, had never heard of this band. We were eating, so I'm going to be very blunt. I didn't pay a lot of close attention. What I heard was somebody that there were issues downstairs with the sound that was coming from upstairs. From my vantage point, and I think you felt the same, Rick.
Yeah, we were eating, and the sound was coming through the speakers.
Yeah,
and you could hear. All you heard was the vocals, but the instruments were all drowned out.
You couldn't hear you could not hear any of the instruments barely at all, and what you heard was just full on vocals, like intensely coming at you.
We didn't perform because there were screens everywhere. So we were
right. So we realized that's who it was, the opening band, and we got our appetizer, fried pickles. I do like them; they're pretty good. They were pretty good, but I think they didn't sit right in my gut because I had issues the rest of the night.
Yeah, if you got stomach aches, probably not.
Yeah, but so Rid of Me comes on, and again we're listening to this from downstairs where it just sounded like all monitor mix of the vocalist. Okay, and it was ear-piercingly loud, like just like attacking you. And the girl that was waiting on us came over, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like a couple times I did that. And she's like, "Do you want me to tell them to turn it down a little bit?" I'm like, "Could you please?" It was just that intense. I don't really have much of an opinion on them because I couldn't hear the music. What do you have to say? So no offense to anybody from Rid of Me if you watch.
You can tell it's a young band or freshly new band because it's like, I don't know about your ears, but to me it sounds a little bit rough around the edges. You know what I mean? I know they're local bands, and I know they're like, you know, they're local. Maybe somebody did a favor and hooked them up with this particular gig. You know what I mean? It's probably an unfair comparison because we knew Prep Sermon, we knew Horrendous, we knew all top. These bands were coming up. And these bands were like stratosphere level, fucking amazing.
Well, and they've been doing it a long time, and also, we were up there, we were upstairs to hear it, and it was a huge difference, Yeah. So trying to listen to it, because even Death Evocation suffered from kind of the same thing, and we were down there for their whole set as well. So to the people in Rid of Me and Death Evocation, if you watch this, which you probably won't, but if you do, my apologies. The way circumstances worked out, we didn't get up there. I had to have food if I was going to drink. I hadn't eaten since like the fucking day before.
We're going to chow down beers. You don't want to be a low blood sugar. You know?
Right.
When it comes to that.
So again, apologies to both those bands. I heard a little bit of Death Evocation. They sounded okay, but again, the instruments were kind of drowned out. It was the sound monitor mix downstairs was really weird. And, I noticed the minute we walked upstairs for Krieg, completely different animal, So to both those bands, no offense to you guys. It's just how it worked out. We just didn't get up to see you. Maybe in the future.
You know something, man? Like, I think they'll be back around again, man. We'll get another opportunity to catch them.
I'm sure.
It's like
maybe a Decibel Fest or
sometimes there are certain bands on like what Frozen Souls coming out. There's a few bands, right? We caught them in the big stage, but like I feel like some bands will probably get a better experience on a more intimate stage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like maybe that's probably maybe that's a better situation. So
I think too, the bits that I could make out of Rid of Me, they had kind of a grungy sound. The singer, which initially I thought was a guy, was actually a girl. That's how bad the sound mix was downstairs. And they kind of had a Soundgarden-y vibe to them, maybe just a little bit. The one song they did reminded me quite a bit of Hands All Over, I think, or something. It just had that, or Outshine, maybe. It just had that vibe. So, again, any further things you want to say about those two bands that we didn't kind of touch on?
No, I mean, obviously, Rid of Me is a very different thing. It was probably the least metal, of all the bands. And this because there's a huge contrast, because when Death Evocation came out, we're like, whoa, okay. We're back on the metal. And they were
back on the death metal, more on the death metal, yeah.
Yeah. Which even downstairs in the not
you
as good
tell.
Speakers, it was like, again, but we're metal guys, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, and I love Soundgarden too, and I love grunge, but there was a noticeable uptick in energy is what I'm getting at. So, oh, wow. Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that. I'm not very aware of Death Evocation, but, the little bit I heard sounded okay. Maybe I need to go check their albums out.
Yeah, this year the last full length was in 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were doing it. Albert wanted them out there.
They're one of those spotty, like, we'll put out one thing whenever we feel like kind of bands. Like,
well, there you go, John. I didn't even know they were an older band. So,
it's like saying we'll see Autopsy again, even though it was their first gig ever in Philly. We're like,
no, that's right. We forgot to mention that first gig ever for Autopsy in Philadelphia, which is
still
totally bizarre. Totally bizarre. You hear that, and I couldn't believe it, but it's true. And a funny joke about that when we get to meeting all the people that we got to meet at the end of the show. But
our big complaint with the venue, right? Like, it's just the whole cashless thing.
Oh, that's right.
You know,
Go
it's,
ahead.
it's like, well, wasn't prepared for that because
I'll be right back.
let me paint you a scenario, right? You're gonna drain your bank account to get ready for this whatever event. You're used to bringing, a sack of cash in this economy if you're fortunate enough to have a sack of cash. So then you go to the place, get ready to lay down. We went down to eat. I had a burger. Jeff had a pulled pork, and I'm ready. Like, here you go. Boom, cash. That's what you do. The girl's like, no, we don't do cash. And I feel bad because the staff has to keep apologizing because it's not their rule, right? It's the venue. So all these people walking around with cash they can't use. It's like I have the money here. You take my money, right? Shut up and take my money. But then you got to use your card. They'll take the plastic. But now you're like in this predicament of like, well, I drained my bank account. Here's the cash.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
brought
drain my bank account. Shit.
I brought like $200 cash. Well, now I had money in the bank, but it was like I ended up spending.
Yeah, I'm using an extreme scenario, but but
$60
I'm
on
sure
beer.
people.
Yeah. So, let's see. So that was a weird thing, and the other thing was too that generally the staff was very cool. The bartenders were very cool. There was one dude that, of course, I had to run into. I went to walk over. This is before you got there. I'd been downstairs. I went to walk over where the stage was, and there was a big ribbon thing across where I had just walked 3 minutes before. I was talking to Tanner Anderson. I went to walk up there. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I went to walk around it, and the guy goes, you can't go in there. Not until 4 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I was just over there 3 minutes ago. Well, I didn't see her. I wouldn't let you over there. He was just kind of a dick. He was kind of a dick. He was being sort of douchebaggy. And I said, well, you don't have to be a dick to me, dude. And he's like, I'm not being a dick to you. You'll know if I'm being a dick to you. And I went, oh, here we go.
The whole being able to get in and out of the. And I understand for security purposes and just like you just can't have people going in. You know what I mean? But there should be a more clearer, looser rule about being able to leave and come back because people need to drop things off in their car.
Right.
Come back.
Well, that was the other thing. We'll get to that in a minute here. So I had grabbed. I'll just show it real quick. I had grabbed
the merch. They did take cash.
Yes, they did take cash. So I grabbed a brand new copy of the band variant of Ecdysis. Really cool. Kind of a milky orange. Very cool.
Is that that's the Decibel reissue? I mean, that was reissued recently, right? So, but I know Decibel.
No, there is a Decibel variant, and that's the band variant. Yeah, this is the reissue. Yes. And I think Dark Descent had a reissue one, and that's sold out. So I grabbed that, and I grabbed this too. I've been wanting one of these like forever, and they didn't have them, so they finally printed a run for these. Ontological Mysterium long sleeve, really cool back, really cool. I forget what this says on here. It says something. The Lucent Pariah. I
like that. My thing about long sleeves is I hate when there's just like the lazy repeating logo.
Yeah, there you go. Right there it is.
Yeah, but
I would have preferred they just put one on and not the whole sleeve.
That's just on one side of the sleeve. It's
just
when
one
they do
side.
both sleeves, and like at least the other one has like the, that line of text or whatever going through.
Hey, what's up, Wade? So yeah, so that's what. So I got those things. And then I'm like, fuck, I don't want to carry these things around. I really don't like carrying shit around, particularly an album. Now, you brought a bag, which was smart, but I didn't. But so I left. This is actually, I'm backing up a minute here. I walked out to take that shit to my car, which was, I don't know, a block and a half away. And I walk out, and the guy's like, I'm like, hey, I get right back in, right? He's like, now you're going to have to get in line. I'm like, what? He's like, and I started really being, my aggro self. We're going to talk about that in a minute because that guy showed up a little bit. It's sleeplessness and, you
were like in teddy bear mode all night. There was just, there were some moments.
I was not a teddy bear at one point. Not at all.
Well, you came outside. That's when I was in line. I was like waiting for you.
I ran into you in line.
It was funny. Like I'm in line, right? Like right in front of me, it's Schnell.
Yeah, and I didn't even see him. I didn't notice. Did I notice it was him? Maybe
Well,
I did.
because like yeah, he had his bag. He's like he had these emulation LPs ready to go. He's like talking about he's gonna get this shit signed. It's gonna be awesome. All this stuff. Yeah. You can't blame him. Like
Right.
it never crossed my mind to bring the LPs to get them signed because I normally just don't do that. It's just not my. Like
wow. Your boy here took all those CD jackets, put them in his fucking cargo pants, and promptly forgot they were there. So I got.
You didn't tell me you had it on you. I would have reminded you.
Yeah, I should have told you so you could remind me because I'm fucking dumbass. But anyway, so we get up there for Krieg, and Rick finally gets in. I leave, and I do have to go back in the line, which was annoying as fuck because they had to recheck me and whatever. So I go in, I find Rick, we eat, we do that deal, and then we go upstairs, and we get up there about maybe like 2 or 3 songs into Krieg.
Yeah, they just started their set, and I gotta say, man,
very good.
They sounded good even downstairs, but I went upstairs, and I'm like, it's my first time seeing Krieg.
Way better.
And Krieg's been around a long time, so this is not like a spring chicken kind of band, it's like Neil and those guys, I mean, they know what they're doing. And it's just, and like I said, I do have a few of their albums, so like I kind of knew what I was suspecting, but never had the live experience, so that was cool.
Yeah, they were good. I was suitably impressed, and they were the only real what I would call black metal band on the bill, and it was very noticeable. They were more black than the rest of everybody else, blackened. And I gotta say, Neil Jameson's voice sounded pretty fucking evil, man. It sounded pretty damn good. Now I'm gonna try something here. We'll see how this goes. I'm not holding my breath that this is gonna happen good, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. Motherfucker, man. Hold on. I literally cannot see all the pictures on my I don't understand this at all. All right, so what we're going to do instead, we're going to do this instead. We're going to go on to my Instagram, which some of you may have seen, many of you may not have seen, but I'm going to go on there because I can't figure out how to share shit on my laptop desktop. I don't get that at all, man. That's fucking weird. All right, so we're going to do this, and I will bring up some pictures of, did I not put them on here? All right, so I do have 3 Krieg pictures, but they're on my freaking camera, which I can't do. So anyway, we're gonna when we get to Crib Sermon in a minute, we'll show some of those pictures and some video, actually live video. But yeah, oh geez, no way. That's kind of ironic. That is ironic. Shit, I could have given you some cash, man, if I'd have known, if we'd have met. But
I paid cash. I got Jeff an LP. And
you paid cash?
I paid cash, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
But that was way later in the night, though.
Maybe, no, he said it was cash only, and he only had cards at the gig.
Oh, it was cash only.
Yeah, it was cash only. Yeah. So
yeah, I saw the gym shorts too. I was entertaining the thought for a minute there. I'm like, but when was the last time I went to the gym?
I know that would not be for me. Well, just lounging around. John, how much were they? I don't remember. Rick grabbed me. I already had the shirts, and Rick grabbed me the LP like a fucker, like I knew he would, but he got paid for it because I knew he was going to sneak that.
That wasn't the story I gave you. I told you I was going upstairs and I tripped over an LP. And
it you're full of shit. Anyway, $25. Okay, but so we watched Krieg. Crowd wasn't super full at that point in time. There might have been 150 people up there, maybe 125. I don't, maybe more, maybe 200. I'm terrible at guessing that stuff, but it definitely wasn't as full as when Crip Sermon, Horrendous, Autopsy, and Immo were playing.
which
Um,
people were still trickling in, but we knew it was going to be jam packed, and it was.
Yeah, it was. By the time Horrendous was playing, it was packed all the way out. Even Crip Sermon was pretty full. So for Crip Sermon, if you know me and you watch the channel, you know I had the guys on a couple weeks ago. You know I fucking love this band. I love the new album. Very likely my top album of the year, but you never know. There's other ones that could possibly push it. It's been cool to get to know the guys because Rick and I were at their album release show back in June. I saw them at MDF. So I've seen them 3 times in the last 3.5, 4 months. And no regrets. Just a killer band, Philly band with some luminary.
I kept getting compliments on my Tarman shirt. Yeah, this thing I was wearing there.
Oh, that's right. You were. That's right. That's true. Yeah. But so Crip Sermon came on, man, and they did the entire Stygian Rose album. They had never played the title track and Thunder Perfect Mind, I believe, or Down in the Hollow. One of those two. I can't forget which one they hadn't played. That's right. That is a cool ass shirt, dude. What's it for again? I don't. Is it a cartoon?
Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay. Well, I got Day of the Dead, bitches.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's a better movie in a lot of ways.
Oh, I love this movie, man. Love it. Although I finally got a copy of it a couple of maybe a month and a half ago. Finally, after probably 2 months ago, I got this and I thought, all right, I'll watch it when I'm ready to watch it. I threw it in. It ain't Day of the Dead. It's this movie.
Oh yeah, Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. So, which I didn't have on Blu-ray, so I'm okay with it. But now I got to go find Day of the Dead.
Like when you go to whenever I go to the shop and I see used DVDs, it's always that damn remake. It's like I hardly ever see the original. I understand.
Yeah, you don't.
Those. So I'm like.
So anyway, getting back to Crip Sermon, I had kind of went up. I did my usual thing where I'm like, come on, Rick, let's go. Follow me. And we kind of sidled up. I was not able to get on the barrier. I was like one person back, and Rick was next to me. And they came out, and I fucking love this band, man. I love this band. I love Steve's a killer guitar player. Matt from Horrendous plays bass and does backing vocals. He's a rock star. We're going to get that in a minute. Frank is a great foil to Steve, great rhythm player. Enrique is a really killer drummer. Tanner, I wish Tanner was a little more involved, like just a little more synth texture-y, figuring things out, but that's what it is. I don't write the music, so it's not my thing. But sometimes you'd see Tanner and he'd just kind of be standing there. It was like I kind of felt bad for him, like he needed to be more involved. I have a feeling on the next album he'll be more involved.
It takes a lot of concentration. That's why I won't learn it, because it's just too much brain power, and I don't like using brain power.
But yeah, everybody in the band, great players, great live band. Brooks is a great singer, very energetic, very charismatic, and they played the whole album, and I was so fucking stoked when they started playing.
Good mention, because this fest was about full albums. They were playing full albums. Every band had
sets of albums. Yeah.
Or sets of albums. Yeah.
Right.
There was the staples. The stuff we want to hear.
Immo did the first 4 albums. A set of first 4 albums. Autopsy, Severed Survival. Crip Sermon did Stygian, and Horrendous did Ecdysis. So that was very unique and very cool. It made the gig very special, I think.
Which, hey, no complaints here, man. No complaints. I think they played the tracks we wanted to hear. A little bonus here and there. I know Horrendous is something kind of cool with their, which I'm sure you'll go into.
Yeah. Well, here we go. All right. Can you see it? Yep. All right. So here you go. This is my Instagram. Unfortunately, some of the pictures I have on the desktop we're not going to be able to see, but that's just a singular picture of Steve. I was right in front of Steve the whole time. I love the way this guy plays. Killer fucking guitar player. I had posted in a different post on Instagram, and it cut his head off, so I put it back in there by itself. So here's some of the stuff, and unfortunately, Can you hear that at all?
I can hear it. Yeah.
So unfortunately, you probably hear it better now. I wonder who that is, Rick.
I don't know. It didn't stay quiet all night. Where did I got it?
All right, so unfortunately, out that fucking guy has. That's here real quick. So yeah, a couple more pictures here. Here's another. Oh, this is Stygian Rose. They're getting some weird stuff. Steve said he was having issues during that song, like audio issues.
Did you get a close up of Steve's guitar strap? That thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, I probably do. See, now here's a part where Tanner could play that, but it was pre-recorded. I didn't understand that. It's kind of weird. I'll have to ask the guys why they did that. That's a pre-recorded intro right there to the song. God damn it, man. I'm really pissed about this. I'm trying to figure it out. Figure out what the fuck's going on there, but we may not be able to see there. Oh wait, now you can't see it there. Okay, there's Matt and Steve and Frank. Got some decent shots. Look at his. Can you see it there? Look at this thing. It's like all these giant fucking missile tips and not bullets. What am I trying to say? Spikes, right?
Yep. Those are like they look like real spikes, man. Like
they
that
do.
shit, like you could kill someone with that. Like,
but it feels like that thing's got to weigh a motherfucking ton.
It's like, you know how like some guys can just jump in stage dive or whatever, but if one day he forgets he has that on.
All right, so that's all of the Crip sermon stuff, I do believe. Let me double check here. Yeah, so okay. So I did do a live video of Down in the Hollow, I believe, that's up on YouTube, which we won't bother to pull those videos up or we'll be here all night. But go check out those videos. Like, not a lot of people checked them out. I was kind of disappointed at that people didn't watch those live, because when I was down in the last Horrendous Entomo gig, I had like 300 views of those live videos. These are only getting 50, 60 views. It's very weird. I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah, John, they're fucking killer. One of my favorite current bands. Yo, Nate, what's up, dude? Neil, the pre-Krieg era. I bet he was.
I heard he was a character. Yeah,
I have some stories that I've heard about him, but I can't really say them online. Okay, so next up, we've got Rick. We had Crip Sermon. I don't know, dude. Like, if I'm giving them a grade out of a 10, it was a 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I knock a half off was for they did have a couple little sound issues that seemed to, particularly with Steve's guitar initially, that seemed a little bit weird. But man, they're truly fantastic live. they're not, other than that little intro to Stygian Rose,
It's a
no
different
backing
stage.
tapes.
I know, trying to get through the sound checks. It looks like they didn't spend a whole lot of time on the sound checks.
Well, they didn't have one. Nobody had one but Autopsy and Immo. That's what I understood.
Well, and I kind of noticed this because, Tanner's wife came out from, what's her, Concilium.
That's right.
And she did.
She sang on this Stygian Rose, and I think she sang on. Was she on the Scrying Orb too? I believe she might have sang on that as well.
Yeah, she hung around for a little while there.
Yeah,
I couldn't hear her as well as I wanted to. Yeah, I mean, make out something about it. I don't know if.
Again, the guy working the board, man. I would say generally the sound was really, really good, but there were moments, in particular with Crypt Sermon, and even with Horrendous, which we're going to get to in a minute, where I don't know what the board guy was doing. He had some moments. We'll get to that in a minute here, but so yeah, I would give them a 9.5 out of 10. One of my favorite bands. I'll see them anytime I possibly can live that they're close by. Love that band, and great dudes too. So, anything to add to that, Rick? What you got a grade for them?
I don't have like a what do you call it, a rating. But I mean, I thought they sounded good. The thing was, we were standing up front. So I don't know if
we were getting some monitor mix, and
I wonder if that kind of muffled a little something just because it was blowing right directly at us.
Right.
For Horrendous, I was in the back. I was more in the back, so I got to kind of experience that other side of the stage.
Yeah.
I
stayed up front. Once I got on the barrier, you weren't getting me off of there. And no matter, there would have been only one or two things.
And then there's the height difference, right? So
and that's the other thing. Rick and I are both slightly challenged in the height department. We're not 6-footers, or I'm 5'7.5" on a good day. Rick's shorter than me, so
I wish I was less horizontal, more vertical.
Yeah. So the one bad thing we have to mention during Crypt Sermon, unfortunately, is that Rick is standing next to me, and these two dudes come up behind us, and out of the corner of my eye, I just noticed Rick seemingly like jolt forward. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And then I realized, some motherfucker just shoved him in the back trying to get to the barrier. And I turn and I look, and I see it's a guy that I saw at the Philly 2 Gold show. And he was being a cock there, and he was being a cock at this show. And I'm going to tell you, man, I'm the little guy with a big fucking mouth. And if you piss me off, all bets are off. So I turned and said, hey, motherfucker. And I shoved him. I said, what are you doing, man? Just quit being a dick. And he goes, yo, man, it's a metal show, bro. And I said, I don't give a fuck what it is, man. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, hey, Greg. What's up, dude? Yeah, I remember you, bro. These are the guys.
I remember seeing you about it. Yeah, it's cool that you were able to make it to it.
Yeah. So I did that, and we did and he was about maybe 2 inches taller than me, but he was also very, very fucking drunk. And I was like, man, bro, I'm about ready to fucking go off. And he's like, his buddy's behind me, and he's trying to chill me, and Rick's trying to chill me. And as Rick knows, I'm not easily chilled.
I didn't know it was like a habitual thing with this guy. I thought it was like a it happens, right? People go through or whatever. And I'm like, well, I know the mosh pit didn't start yet.
But the mosh pit had not started.
Yeah, so that's why
he was simply pushing to try to get to the stage. And we were there for a good 2/3 of the set. And if you try to fuck with me where I'm already at, man, I don't give a fuck if you're 10 feet tall. Something's going to happen, and it's probably not going to be very good. I'm 60 years old almost. Don't fuck with me, man, because I'll grab your nuts and rip them off. I don't give a fuck. And that's kind of where I was about ready to go for. I was about ready to fucking headbutt the guy. And Rick's like, dude, it's okay. It's all right. And I'm like, no, it ain't all right, man.
Well, I don't want you getting kicked out and missing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. But no one was fucking with my bro Rick. So interestingly, he stood over there and he muttered for a little bit. And I just kept doing one of these, staring at him, daring him to be the first guy to hit me so that I could fucking take him out. And then suddenly he just disappeared after, I don't know if it was right after the set or even before. I think it was before the set was over. he either moved to some other area or whatever. But, you know, it's interesting. Nate says, it's a metal show. Free pass to be a cunt. Exactly. I get it if you're stage, or not stage diving, crowd surfing, or there's a mosh pit and I get bumped in the back, especially if I'm on the barrier right in the middle, which I was.
Yep.
But when you are an asshole that's trying to plow your way in there to get a position simply because you were back there getting fucked up, eat a dick, man. Eat a bunch of dicks. That's what I say. So Crip Sermon ruled. I didn't get in a fight. But I don't know, Rick. That was probably a new one for you because I don't think you've seen me that pissed off and aggro because I was fucking lit. You know, I was lit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you count on, you know, when you go to a show. Like, you know, it's not like go to NASCAR and hope for a crash, you know.
Yeah, but I kept it under check.
Hoping nobody gets killed or, you know,
Well, the one thing I kept thinking is, do not hit this guy first. Let him hit you.
Yeah.
And then you can fucking skull fuck him. That's
I think,
what
like I was saying, right? I think in the car, I was just like, most of the time when people see that you're willing to go there, they will back down.
Yeah, and he did. He backed down and he left. So, all right. So the next thing is Horrendous. And if you know my channel, again, you know I love this band. This is my 6th time seeing them, 5th or 6th in the last 7 months. I love this band. I think they're fucking savage live. They're just, and they're amazing dudes. They're awesome fucking guys. Alex, bass player, came out, and we'll jump into this here. And he started an intro. It was kind of an ambient intro.
With the echo cancellation strategy.
Can you guys all hear that out there in the chat?
I mean, I can hear it here.
Let me know. There's that fucking loudmouth guy again.
Try again, man.
Fucking dude never shuts up. What a douchebag.
Is that guy like 7 feet tall?
He's pretty big. I hear he's got a really big dick too. I don't know. I'm not that I care about that, but there you can see the crowd is very full. All right, we'll move ahead. All right, before we do this, I have to stop this a minute. We'll go back. So there's a track called The Vermilion, an acoustic track on Ecdysis. And again, keeping in mind that Horrendous had no sound check, they had Damien playing he brought his Martin, but forgot to check the battery in the 9-volt battery. Didn't even realize there was one, he said, because he always plays it acoustic, never plugs it in. And so they set up a condenser mic, and he had a seat for him to sit on to play. And you'll see what happens here. So we'll go back to it here. Hang on.
I'll play real quiet.
We're talking to each other. I'll play real quiet. You couldn't hear Damien at all. It's kind of quiet. It's kind of quiet. So they're trying to figure out the sound on this condenser mic.
Invisible acoustic. Oh. They need a lot more volume on that. Woo! Up! Way up!
Hey, Bill. Is that ready to get him way up there?
That's a loaded question.
A lot of feedback.
I'll play real quiet.
All right, so you got to give these guys props. You got to give these guys props for trying to pull that off, because that was not an easy thing to do. They did play the song. It was kind of hard to make out Damien, but Matt was plugged in so you could hear him a lot better. But I love that track, and they did a really nice job of powering through it. But it was, I made the joke to them afterward. I said, dudes, I got a great idea. Ontological Mysterium Acoustica next time. And they're like, yeah, man, we're going to do like an unplugged set. I'm like, maybe rethink that. So ballsy to pull out an acoustic track.
Death metal band unplugged album. That would be interesting.
But ballsy to do that at a death metal show where they're the only people playing an acoustic track.
Well, what's already peculiar is if you don't like if you come into this fest and don't really, I guess what you call really know the bands, you're looking at this going, that guy Horrendous looks a lot like that other guy in Crypt Sermon. It's so weird.
He is that guy. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do a couple quick run throughs. I'm really bummed I can't get on my laptop. I got to figure that out for the next time I do this. But some good shots, some okay shots. Remember, I'm doing this with a phone, so I don't have like a 35 millimeter SLR or digital camera. I think some of these came out fairly good. I think we are going to watch the one that I do have on. Yeah, these actually, some of these really came out nice, I think. And it must be said, I love my dude, Matt. He's such a fucking great guy. And I will tell you, he is a certified, mega, bona fide fucking rock star, man. That guy is all over the stage, loves playing, loves fucking bringing the energy to the crowd, getting the crowd involved, loves his bandmates. He is a rock star. Alex, just happy up there. Jamie's the fucking foundation on the drums. The guy's a really good drummer that you probably would.
They were the funnest band that night, man. I was standing out towards the back, right? I wasn't in the front for this one.
Yeah.
So I went to get a couple drinks or whatever. So then you were dehydrated by then, I think. Then Matt ran up to the platform on the other side. You know,
we're gonna watch that in a minute here.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, it's right here. Watch this. So I noticed that Matt's not. I was watching Damien, and I noticed that Matt's not there, and this is why. We'll let it roll around. This band is so savage live, guys. So goddamn good. Tight as fuck, too, man. I think I said tighter than a nun's butthole in my write-up. So he's walking on this tiny little bar ledge. Stage in the VIP area, and I just happened to look up and go, "Where the fuck did that go?" And I was looking over that way. I'm like, "Yeah, I just got my camera up to get some of that footage." So I think, did we get through all the other pictures then? Yeah. All right. So this is Immo, and we'll get to them in a minute here. Just to wrap up on Horrendous. I don't know, man. I love this band. I just love this fucking band so much. And they bring it. They're just so full of energy and so up and just into it. And they really enjoy. You can tell they thoroughly enjoy being on stage. And I love the dudes personally. They're all super cool with me and super nice to me. So major props to the dudes in Horrendous. I give them a 9.95 out of 10. The only thing that kind of sucked, and this wasn't their fault, was the Vermilion was a little rough because they didn't have things sorted out. You know, they didn't have a chance to sort out the sound.
And they don't do it that often. So
right.
It looks cool to get something a little different. I mean, after Crypt Sermon, it was basically all death metal bands after that.
Right.
And horrendous are they're like a different animal, man. They're again they're like a proggy type of death metal.
Proggy death metal with some blackened tinges to it. Yeah, they just mix all those things well. And I forgot to mention Damien. I think Damien's kind of like the glue guy. He does all the little things. And I was talking to Will from Season of Mist. He was there and found me up there during after Immolation, I think, for Autopsy. And he's like, man, this band, I think, as Damien goes, they go, meaning that Damien just does all the little things, the lead vocals, the co-lead vocals, the harmony background vocals, searing leads, great rhythm playing. He's a lot more quiet, a little more reserved on stage as far as being like a character like Alex or certainly like Matt. Matt's like the center of attention in a lot of ways, but he doesn't showboat away from his band members. It's just how you know how their stage presence is. So next up, now here's where things get interesting because I do want to show one more thing. Hold on. Give me one. Oh shit! Wait a minute. Yeah, is that the video? Oh, so this is kind of funny. For those that didn't check it out, we're gonna watch briefly. God damn it! Hold on, I didn't have the. All right, so here's this. Let's do this. Now I'm gonna play this. It's only 3 minutes, so I'll play this clip real quick. I guess, Rick, we're not gonna make it in under an hour, looking like. So we'll get wrapped up here in an hour and a half. We should be good.
I think I'll be all right.
All right. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stop sharing that, and we're gonna do this sharing, and we're gonna do this, and this is one of the 5 live vids that I shot while I was up front there, and I was using the interface with YouTube. So it's YouTube's live, not my videos I took. I took 1 or 2 videos of each band's songs. Like I took a live video and then I took my phone video to use tonight, and I can't use those because I can't find them. So what I'll end up doing is my own recap with footage and stuff. But long story short, this is them playing. I think it was doesn't matter ultimately, but let me see. Hold on. God damn it. You gotta be kidding me. All right. So I believe this is the song. Come on, Jeff. Get off of there. You fucking asshole. I'm pretty sure this is Monarch or When the Walls Fell. So this album's a little new to me, or fairly new to me in the last year and a half. So I don't know every song off type. So we're going to watch this because it has a real funny moment in it. Now what happens here that kind of pisses me off is my Wi-Fi signal gets really funny in the middle of this song. And there's some weird stops in the audio. I think that was a Wi-Fi signal. And I don't think right here it gets muted. Video. I'm gonna bounce it ahead a little bit. Actually, it's 2 songs. I'm sorry. It was I think it was between. This is the 2 songs are the ones I said one, and then I'm starting the new one. Watch it right about here. Watch this. This is fucking hilarious. Watch this shit. It comes right to me. He's literally on top of me right there. Then he decides he's going to crowd surf on his back, and he decides to lay on top of me, the old man I'm the old guy, and he decides to fall back on me, and I'm like trying to put my phone away and not lose my glasses and grab his back, and I'm like, what is he doing? He knows I'm old and fucked up. Like, come on now. So, anyway, that was fun as shit.
You're no stranger to losing your glasses. So like,
yeah, sadly you're right. Sadly you're right. So, all right, now we'll get into any final thoughts on Horrendous?
Awesome as always, man. I think that. Am I echoing? Yeah. It's one of our top albums last year, so it's always good to revisit. That said, and just on this bigger stage too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We caught them. What was the last time we caught them? You caught them a few times, but
I caught them. I saw them at the end of July down in Baltimore at Metro Gallery, and then I saw them with you at Underground with Tumo.
Yeah, Underground Arts.
And then you and I saw them before Christmas down in Philly. With who were they with? Fuck. Are you kidding me? Man, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm completely drawing a blank.
They were the headliner with Tumult. They were the support band.
Yeah,
but I can't remember who it was. It might have been local bands. But then I also saw them in Baltimore in early January. I went down to see them. So yeah, I've seen them 5 times, which is kind of crazy, but cool as fuck. So, yeah. So let's jump over here to Immolation now. Some notes on Immolation and Autopsy. I have never seen these bands. Been fan. Autopsy Mental Funeral was one of the first death metal albums I ever bought in around 2002. I came to death metal a little bit later than the late 80s and early 90s. I was struggling with the vocals for a long time. You know that if you've seen some of my Outer Heaven. Thank you, Outer Heaven Cognitive. Yep.
I was thinking Outer Heaven was a later date. So what? So it was that set. Okay.
It was. Yeah. Outer Heaven. That's right. Now I remember. But I've never seen Immolation, and I've never seen Autopsy. Again, Autopsy, a long-time favorite. I'm going to be honest, and John, if you're still here, don't hate me. Don't throw anything at me. I tried Immolation a bunch of years ago, and I was like, I don't know. And here's the weird thing. I almost saw them twice. I tried to see them twice. Once with Morbid Angel back in 18, I believe. And I got food poisoning the night before the show and was no way I could do it. And then in 2019, I was 6 miles from the venue in Philly. September 19, I was literally right down the street. And my car's electrical system started acting fruity as fuck. And I was very scared I was going to get stuck down. I was out of work and had no bank account. This is a long story. I went through some real shitty stuff. And I was scared I was going to get stuck down there. And long story short, I didn't end up making that gig, even though I was right down the street. I needed to drive home during the day while it was still daylight so that I didn't get stuck down at night. So I missed them both times.
That was back when this album was still new.
Yes, yeah.
Tone set.
So I knew what to expect, but I didn't know what to expect because interestingly, a few months ago, I finally immersed myself in Immolation and grabbed the first 4 albums, which the set was comprised of the first 4 albums, all songs from the first 4 albums. And I gotta say, man, just savage as fuck. Savage as fuck. So tight, so professional. They were the only band that brought their own amp heads. Everybody else was using Marshalls. They brought their effects and stuff, but it was backline of Marshall cabs.
This is not going to be a shock to anybody, but the most intense moment in that whole fest was when that Here and After song came on. Everybody went fucking ape shit.
That's when the motherfucking pit broke out and people started surfing because there was 1 or 2 surfers during Horrendous, maybe 3 or 4, but it wasn't too bad. And there was a nice little circle pit going, but it was mild compared to Immolation. I think everybody burnt themselves out for Immolation, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was just people getting fucking thrown all over, man. And I had to keep ducking because I'm like, well, okay, so I bought Jeff the one, a Crip 7 record, right? So it was in the bag, but I was up front. So my worry was this shit's it's not gonna survive the night if I stay here.
Yeah, you came up. Is that when you brought me the water? I think it was when you brought me the water, right?
Yeah, it was one of those liquid deaths.
Yeah, because I was dying. Of.
You've never had a liquid death before, right?
And just to note something else, I only drank 3 beers at the fest the whole time. I just was done at that point. I had a good buzz for a little bit, and then I started feeling sick in my stomach. I'm like, I'm done. Which is kind of partly because of my illness and partly because of having not slept at that time. By that time, I'd already been awake 22, 23 hours, maybe close to 24 hours. So I was wiped, and I was like, man, I gotta fucking, I gotta drive home at some point here, and I can't drink anymore. So Rick kindly grabbed me a liquid deck. That, by the way, I didn't pay you for that. It was probably $10 a can.
Whatever, man. No, it wasn't $10.
All right, I gotta get you back for that.
I don't care about that, man. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, Immo comes out and I'm right in front of Alex the whole night, the whole set, and just fucking savage as hell. Ross, man, I don't know how. After talking to him after the show, I have no idea how he gets that bark, that. It's just incredible how he gets that bark. Bob's over there doing the hatchet chopping guitar stuff, and man, amazing.
Today with Close to a World Below, and that was the only one, that was in 2000, I think, that album. Everything else was pretty much the 90s set. And I mean, that was a band. I told this to Bob and Ross. Like, they were the first death metal band I saw in Philly. Like, I just arrived in Philly. Yeah, I was in Philly for maybe a month, my first month there, and I saw they were playing the Trocadero, which is now closed. And I was like, dude, when you guys played, there was like 15 people there. Like, not appreciate it at all. I mean, they're like legendary death metal band now, but at the time, it's a whole different name. They were like, that was shit was like different back
early
then.
days.
But they still played their asses off. Like, they were just, that's how passionate these guys are.
They're savage live, so professional. I would say of all the bands, they're the most professional, i.e. they're having fun, but they have an image they want you to see. They want you to.
They're focused, man. Like, they even the way they like when you look at Alex and like Bob, they're dressed very similarly. Just a certain.
Well, the whole band is. They all wear black.
Yeah.
And they have like camo boot, or not camo. What are those boots that strap up your leg? Army boots or whatever they call those. GI boots. Yeah, they all have that on. They all look very.
You don't want to get kicked by one of those.
Their material is very sinister, and it's very focused on the hypocrisy of religion and God and all those things. They don't want to come out there fucking wearing ICP shirts and dancing around in shorts and shit. They want to project an image of intensity and darkness, and they do it well.
They can't get away with what Tumo does. They're just a very different kind of band.
Yeah, very different kind of band. Yeah, very much so. Love my dude. Love my dude. I love my dude Derek, but yeah, he gives no fucks and just wears shorts. It's funny as hell.
That's cool as all the way too. But like I said, there's just depends what your approach is. These guys are very like you talk about old school. These guys were there in the beginning. Like
ain't no fucking around here. No fucking.
Yeah,
around.
like as soon as Ross kicks in his vocals, like it ain't no joke. This guy is just fucking punishing.
But on the same token, Ross is very fan engaging. He talks a lot.
Yeah.
Not every song, but he'll talk. He talked several times at length. Thanked Albert, thanked Decibel for backing him. Talked about the book that's coming out, which I forgot to mention. I asked Alex about. I totally forgot that. I don't know why. And man, just absolutely fucking savage and so good. I'm a fan. I'm there. It's over. Damn, John, you're old school, dude. You're like me, an old man. So I just missed a lot of these shows back then because I couldn't assimilate. I was coming from prog metal, like early Dream Theater, and bands like that, and early the late hair metal stuff, Rat, and all that. I just couldn't get my head around the vocals, but when it clicked finally,
Gee Willikers, when did that close? I used to work in Pennsauken. Like that was where our old office was. Cool to imagine Immolation was there back in the day.
Yeah, I'll be 59 in March, so we're right there. We're in the same place. Yeah, Immolation was fucking a 10 out of 10. Banger. Just fucking obliterated the place. That was the most active pit, even over Autopsy. I think everybody's shot their wad a little bit because Autopsy was more subdued than I expected it to be. Not completely, but I had 4 or 5 people where I had to grab my glasses and go down and let them go over me because there was a big ass fucking bouncer pulling.
But I think it was a good balance, like because Immolation, like they're heavy, but they're technical, but they're not technical death metal. They're like, but they're it's just a straight. They got their own sound. That's not really replicated. It's like,
they do.
Nobody
sounds like them, man. Nobody. And I just, again, so professional. And to be honest with you, they were the band that came prepared with all the merch, all the CDs. Yeah. I didn't see any vinyl. Was there vinyl there? It was Atonement, right?
Don't know. I mean, as far as I got most of the vinyl, so I wasn't really looking out for it.
Yeah.
But I know they had shirts and
they had tons of shirts, which we'll get. Well, we'll do that now.
Because this is the one I got, which is
Oh, that's the one you got. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the long sleeve. Why did I think you got the long sleeve? Okay.
Well, I'll wear medium. They were out of most of the mediums already by
then.
I had large.
So this was one of Failures for Gods.
Yep.
Oh. The interesting thing to note, and this isn't a slight on the guys, I love them, but all these shirts went on sale today. They're $15 on their website. All the Immolation shirts, guys. Go grab a bunch of Immolation stuff. We paid $25 though. So
$15 on their site.
$15.
Nobody buy mediums.
Well, yeah, don't buy any mediums
within the next hour.
Yeah, in fact, don't even go over there and buy any shirts till we're done. We'll let you know. But anyways, Failure for Gods. I was limited. I couldn't just buy everything, and then I grabbed another one.
That's 94. It's been closed. Okay.
Huh?
G Willikers. Okay. I wasn't in that area by then.
Yeah, and then I grabbed this one, which I love.
I love that.
After.
Yeah.
Cool back to it. Cross, where it says, I cannot force the blood of Christ to flow through me. Can't wait to run into some right-wing religious Nazi that sees me wearing that. That should be fun. All right. So that was it. And I have to admit, I did not buy an Autopsy shirt. I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for it, but they only had 2 there. And I didn't think the Mental Funeral one looked right. It looked faded. And the Severed Survival, I'm not a huge fan of that. The Doctor one. I don't know why. I just didn't grab one. But now I'm kind of regretting it.
I got myself a hat.
Ah, look at you.
Well, they had two. Right? They had the well. So I was walking around. Everybody kept, showing the white one. Everybody bought the white one, but I thought the red one looked pretty sick. It doesn't show.
Oh,
us.
you know what? Greg's right. They probably are about the same price with shipping. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're making up.
Although if you buy 3 or 4 shirts, you probably are getting them for about 17 or 18 a piece. So, but yeah, props to the Immolation guys for one, carrying a lot of merch. Two, keeping it reasonably priced, which everybody was, frankly. The Ontological Mysterium shirt was 40. That was a little pricey, but I wanted that shirt, and it goes to my boys, so I didn't have a major problem with that.
It looks like the venue doesn't take a ridiculous cut. I guess
well,
they take, right?
maybe.
Because I've seen more outrageous prices in other places.
Yeah, because a lot of the times the way the merch goes, they end up stealing 35%, and the band hardly gets out of there with making any money. So, all right, let's check out Immo live. This was the first song, I think. Could be wrong. Some really good pictures of Alex because he was right in front of me. There's Bob. Ross. All right.
It was hard to get Steve back there.
Yeah, it was. Actually.
That guy was killing that kid, man. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of great drummers, man. Enrique's very solid. Jamie's very underrated, in my opinion. Steve, fucking amazing.
It's just a certain kind of precision, that requires if you're going to be in a band like Immolation.
Right. And then this guy right here. So next up is Autopsy. And, I know a lot of people are like, Immo was the set of the night. I can't argue that. 10 out of 10. Fucking awesome. But Autopsy, man, they're the kings of grimy, sludgy, doomy fucking death metal, man. And Chris Reifert is a fucking legend, man. Like, that guy needs legend attached to his name somewhere. First of all, he's a fucking insanely good drummer, man. I didn't realize how good he was until watching him live like that. And he is singing back there, dude, when he's doing that stuff. And he's 56 years old. He ain't fucking around, man. But the great thing about Chris is he's hysterically fucking funny, man. He just gives no shits. It's a party.
I got a bit timid, man, when we met up with him, and like I didn't know what to say. I'm like, "You're fucking Chris Reifert, man." I don't know what the hell.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. We're almost there. These guys, that swampy fucking sound. As I mentioned, Immolation brought their EVH3s, their Eddie Van Halen through PV heads, and their guitar tone was very different from all the other guitar tones because all the other guys were using backline, which was Marshall, probably a JCM 2000 or an 1800 or I don't know 800. I'm sorry, an 800. So who knows what I couldn't tell from the stage what Marshall head it was. Maybe it was a Plexi. I'm not even sure. But I gotta say, man, Autopsy's sound was just sick as fucking hell, man. It was gnarly, swampy, disgusting, grimy, punky, deathy, speedy. It was everything you want to hear. And they raged through Severed Survival, the whole album.
Well, they started out with a couple of mental funeral tracks. And
Did
then like I think the first 3.
Oh shit.
And then they went right to Severed Survival.
Oh, you're right. Actually, you're right. Did they do Grip of Winter?
I
I can't remember. Let me see.
Did they? I'm getting an echo.
Let me see. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Twisted Massive, Burnt Decay, In the Grip of Winter. Okay, yeah. And then they did two tracks from Mental. Then they went into Charred Remains, Service for a Vacant Coffin, Disembowel, Gasping for Air, Ridden with Disease, Pagan Savior, Impending Dread, Critical Madness, Embalmed, and Stillborn. And then they did a Bloodbath cover, Fuck You, at the end, which was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Chris was like, we didn't get together on this and have a band meeting whether we were doing an encore or not. So this is it, fuckers. This is the last song. Enjoy it. Fuck you.
Yeah, he's like, we can do like that encore bullshit.
Huh?
He said something along those lines.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, screw that encore crap.
Chris was fucking hilarious. So let's get into those guys a little bit. We'll do the pictures, and then we'll do. Here's Chris there, and that one got a little blurry.
You would never know it was their first Philly gig though. They came up and
Yeah.
just did their thing, man. It's like Color and Welcome Sand. Everybody was just, you know, also.
There's that loudmouth again. I believe this was the very beginning. This was Twisted Massive, Burnt Decay.
Philadelphia! We're Autopsy! And we're gonna slice your fucking throats!
I love it. Guys, awesome. All right, a couple more picks, and then we'll get to the very end.
Yeah, see, for the first few tracks, I was up down front, but I kept thinking about, man, your LP is just not going to survive this, man. I had to like move back.
Yeah, thank you for doing that, dude. That's why I don't carry stuff around. I don't want the responsibility, you know.
I should have known. It's just like people
Yeah.
keep growing all over the place. Plus, I'm like having to put my hand up to hold people up to keep them from crushing my head.
Speaking of Autopsy, they're going to be headlining the Decibel Denver thing in early December, and big, major hoping, crossing fingers, but I'm hoping to go out to hang out with Jimmy from Future Ruins and do that. Just don't know how my health's going to be then, because it's rough. Rick knows. He's been around me a bunch and knows there's some really awful shit I'm dealing with. But anyway, so they get done. Autopsy gets done. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Easy. They're fucking legends, man. Like Evan says, they're legends. And Chris is a legend. All these guys are Imo and all the Imo guys and all the Autopsy guys are legends. And I think we have to make special note of Greg Wilkinson in Autopsy. Amazing addition. The guy, we'll talk about him in a minute because we got to talk to him at length and hang out with him a little bit.
He's one of the first I ran into. We were walking upstairs. Real cool guy. Always ready to just drop everything, just talk to.
Yeah,
people
super sweet guy.
Have a conversation.
I had talked to him before you even got there for quite a bit. And then we talked to him when we were standing there getting beers. And then we talked
I
to him.
remember telling him, like, I'm that dude that did that Death Grave review.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, it was a positive one. No worries.
So, let me do this quick. Sorry. Try to get the echo cancellation off. Things out. So, after the show, I kind of collected my fucking legs and back and everything that was insanely painful and meandered out back and caught Rick. And at that point, I was walking over to the merch table. I was showing Rick something, I think, at the horrendous merch table. And Matt came running over going, he was looking for Jamie. He's like, Jamie, come here, quick. And he says to me, hey, Fred Espy's over here. Come on. I'm like, Fred Espy? What's he doing here? Just like, what's that? Well, it turns out he lives in New Jersey. I didn't know that. But he was at the show. Of course, if you don't know who Fred is, drummer for Dismember. So I saunter over, and when we get to the VIP area, there's a lady there, and I'm like, well, I don't have the proper thing on my wrist. I'm not going to get back there. So I kind of held up, and then I'm standing there, and she's talking to somebody. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going in. Let her throw me out. So I walked in. Got to meet Fred. Unfortunately, my phone was all but dead. And so all these pictures, except for one or two, rather, Rick had to take on his phone because mine was dead. So I yelled for Rick because I saw him walking past where I was back in the roped-in area where the bands were. And I yelled to him. And I got him. I said, just come back. Just walk back. So he walked back. Did you meet Fred or were you standing there? I can't remember.
No, I saw him, but I didn't really talk to him.
Yeah, I didn't really talk to him other than shake his hand because he was talking to all the horrendous guys, and he's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, I'm a nobody. I'm just friends of theirs. So, so we're back there. I'm talking to Damon for quite a bit, and the guys in horrendous, and Greg walks out, and I say, hey, man. He's like, I was going to talk to him. He's like, hey, I'll be right back. I got to go do something. So he jets, and then this happens. Hold on, I pulled up the wrong thing. This happens. Albert, who's on the right there, far right, Albert Mudrian, Decibel's editor-in-chief, owner, CEO, whatever, is walking out with Chris. And there he is right there. And I see him, and I'm like, all right, I got to say something. I'm like, hey, Chris. And I walk away from Damien. I'm like, hey, Chris. And I reached out. And he's like, hey, Jeff. And I was like, I didn't even have to tell him. I was like, holy fuck, he knows who I am. That's crazy. Now, I interviewed him back in April. But
I was going to say it wasn't that long ago. So
yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But great memory. He knew it was me right away. I mean, people that spend 2 hours with me generally find me hard to forget in one way or another.
I think you remind him of Greg Wilkinson anyway. You kind of have a resemblance.
Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a minute, okay? So I go to take a picture. Rick goes to take a picture, and my fucking battery's on like 3%, and it won't flash.
You couldn't even focus.
But that's the picture you took there, Rick. Not too bad, actually.
Yeah.
And no, oh, wait. Oops, hold on. Okay, the other one's on the other one. So, all right, so we are hanging out there a little bit. We talked to Chris for a little bit, and Fred and the H guys, and then we go out. And on the way down to talk to, we see Ross and Bob and Steve and hanging out. And I'm like, let's go talk to the Imo guys, right? Alex was not around. I think Imo had to leave. He had to leave early, he told me. So We go down. We're walking down the stairs, and Greg
We
walks
didn't,
up
we
like
didn't see Danny either. Autopsy. He kind of just vanished.
we didn't see Danny or Eric. We didn't see either one of them. Yeah. They might have stayed in the back. I don't know. And I didn't see Steve or Frank from Crip Sermon either. So I think they both had to leave early too. I'm not sure what the deal was, like right after the show. So, all right. So first, I can't remember the order, but I think we talked to Greg first, and we'll get that picture in a minute because it's kind of funny. But walked over and talked to Ross. Man, what a fucking cool dude. Just a fucking cool dude, man. Super cool. Love talking to him. Talked to him about coming on the show, him and Bob and Steve. So we'll definitely do that at some point. But really cool talking to him. Oh, wait. Sorry. There it is. It's brother from another mother time right there. Rick goes, dude, you two look like, now, notwithstanding the fact that Greg's probably 6'1", 6'2", and I'm a munchkin compared to him. What a guy, man. Just can't say enough nice things about Greg. He was awesome. Just super cool. Just so patient and giving of his time. And Rick said, you two look a lot alike. And what I said something, but I came up with a good nickname for us. I'm calling us. Wow, shit! What did I call us?
Yeah, my blood alcohol was at a certain level by that point. So
Yeah, I called us. Damn it! Where the fuck is it? Oh, the grim ghastly. Oh no, the something Gandalfs. The grim and ghastly Gandalfs or something like that, because we both look.
Oh, here I found it. The Grim Reaper, Gandalfs.
There you go, the Grim Reaper Gandalf. So don't anybody take that because that's my band name one of these days. For me and Greg, we're gonna do a band called the Grim Reaper Gandalfs. All right, Greg, you don't know about this, but you do now if you ever watch this. So, but yeah, Greg, man, thank you so much. You were fucking killer to hang out with, and so cool. And then, back to we're walking, getting ready to leave, and we run into Bob and Steve, and we had a nice little chat with them, probably 5, 6, 7 minutes. And Bob knew me from interviewing Alex. He's like, hey, you're the guy that interviewed Alex. I'm like, yeah. I said, you guys got to come on. And Steve's like, hell yeah, man. Let us get through this next tour cycle. I think they're heading out with Cannibal, I believe, to do some shows. Or maybe some fest. I can't remember what they said. But they got some stuff going, and they said, more towards the holidays, we'll be free and clear to come on and talk all night long. So that was very cool. Another picture with me and Ross. And then this is earlier, but this is on your camera, Rick. Albert Mudrian took the pictures of Rick and I with Chris. And I love Chris is always making faces, grim faces, fucking hilarious. And there is your poster, Rick, that you got.
Oh yeah, I got it over there. I think it's
I
huge.
grab one of them. I didn't think to get one.
I was waiting till the end of the night because one, you can't really fold it because it's like thick cardboard.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna walk around with this. It's probably gonna be all beat up and bent by the time it's just, they want $20 for that. So I'm like,
yeah,
to have that thing get wrinkled. I'm like, all right.
I'm kind of pissed I didn't get one. I didn't see them.
Well, they're all the way in the back, and the Decibel booth was all the way in the back. Like,
oh shit! Okay.
You could pre-order the book and all that stuff.
Damn it! Did they have magazines? Did they have the autopsy mag?
I didn't actually see any. I could have asked. Maybe they had.
That's the weird thing. When you go to Decibel Fest, there's magazines everywhere.
Yeah, for some reason.
I didn't see them any this time anywhere.
The beer fest, I know they just hand them out to you.
Yeah, they give you one going in. Right. So all right, I think. Let me see if that's it. I think that's it on. Yep. Okay. So that's all the stuff that was on Instagram. Unfortunately, see you, John. Good seeing you, bud. Next time we'll connect and introduce ourselves to one another.
Yeah. So this was the actual.
Yeah. Very cool.
It's nice and thick. So yeah, I'm gonna frame that, man. I gotta measure it. Get like an actual proper.
Yeah, frame. That's a framer right there. Unfortunately, the corner got a little bit bent, not bad,
Yeah.
but just a little. But
Time I frame it, it'll straighten itself.
yeah, no, you didn't get creased. That was a good thing. So,
Yeah.
the last thing. Oh shit! Yeah, I can't show that. Fuck. All right. So we finally. I ran into Jamie on the way out. Gave him a hug. Hugged the Rennis dudes. Said goodbye to everybody. Said goodbye to Brooks, and ran into Tanner and Brooks out front. We talked to them for a few minutes, and Tanner's wife. I don't know her name. Can't remember.
Paris.
Paris. That's it. And then I said to Rick, he was kind of parked a different way from where I was parked, but up at the end of the street, we saw it. We saw it. We saw it. And what we saw was this. I got to show you on my phone. Unless you have it, Rick.
What?
Do you have the... Oh, here it is. I got it. All right, what we saw at the end of the street was this.
Necrotic Nick, are you watching?
And I sent it to him and rubbed it in.
All right.
This, I don't know the name of it. Do you remember?
The name of the food truck?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
something Middle Eastern cuisine or something.
It's the truck right at the Fillmore, and that shit. It's crack, man. It is.
It is fucking pure
Guys,
heroin. It is the most beautiful fucking food I've ever had. After we've done it twice now, and I got the chicken and rice and salad platter, and it was $15. I probably would have paid $100 for it. It's that good. It's spices and all these. It's not Indian. It's more Mediterranean.
The dude remembered us, man.
The dude remembered us right away. It was weird as fuck. It was really weird. I was like totally weirded out.
I think because last time we were there, we made a big scene. It was just like fucking fanboying out. Like it's just because I know what it was. Because you weren't there the first night of the Decibel thing.
No, yeah,
and I was there, but I was there with Nick. We got food. He was there with his brother-in-law, and we're like, this shit is like Clown 9 packaged in styrofoam. And then
I'm seriously, Rick, some of the best goddamn food I've ever had.
And I've had all these food trucks, in Philly. You know what I mean? It's just nothing compares quite like that truck.
Oh my God.
And
and the dude's super cool. There he goes. I remember that meal as well as I remember the show.
Nick, it's worth the plane ticket. Come back down.
Yeah, Rick got lamb again, or got lamb this time. I stayed with my chicken.
Jeff paid for that one, so thank you again.
That was paying you back for your the Brooklyn Bowl. So I mean, honestly, perhaps one of the, and then I think I sent this picture to Nick, but this is funny. Where's that here?
That lamb, yeah. It's just.
Here's the
little.
Here's the evidence.
I'm just glad that truck's not right across the street from me, man. Like, because
oh my God, are you kidding?
It's like
this is how happy I was, and that's Rick's food, by the way. But we're sitting in my car, and Rick's like, "We got to send this to Nick and like fucking rub it in." And I'm like, "Dude, I think I'm gonna eat your fucking food." I was so. I was stoked, but I don't like lamb. But anyway, absolutely fucking killer. It was just amazing. So yeah, we should. That's it. We should just steal it and like tie him up and maybe feed him every now and again. Let him go to the bathroom or something. Just park it out back of the house. Make him cook for us.
Will work. Like Walter White in the lab. Just like we can do is just cook. Like
yeah. So anyway, and then that was kind of it. Yeah,
I got a couple shirts there. I got the so I went to the funny booth where they had all the what do you call it, all the fun stuff. Like so they had the Philly Fanatic.
Oh, that's right.
I got mauled to death by the Philly Fanatic. Decibel.
Okay. Was that Decibel's table?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do their little Philly centric stuff. I even got this. I got this one for my nephew. So I got the Wawa Death Skull. Actual die here. It's like, so if you guys don't know, it's like Wawa's a huge, fucking, it's privately owned, but they got a little bit. You can get hoagies or whatever there.
It's a convenience store, but they have a kitchen. and they make killer fucking food. Terrible for you. It's all like artery clogging and brain destroying, but it's fucking good. Their meatballs, impeccable. Their meatball subs.
Yep.
Anything else?
They're open like 24 hours. So you go there like 3 in the morning. It's just people fiending for smokes and stuff, and it's just weird.
Especially after a concert or something. If there's a local one nearby, they're just polluted with people. Did you did you buy any CDs or vinyl for you?
No, I think everything there was stuff that I already have.
Okay.
So I wasn't going there to plan to buy any actual albums. I think that other than maybe shirts, and again, I got this hat, like, you know, other clothing item specific stuff. Other than that, I think I'm good. All right, Nick, dipping already, dude.
All right, maybe I'll pop on in a bit. Yeah, man, just absolutely insane. Albert Mudrian and staff, James, and all the guys there at Decibel, you guys just know how to do things right. Always stellar presentations, great lineups, great food and drinks. Yes, everything's fucking crazily expensive, but hey, that's, you know.
And just run into people, man. You never know. Like, I ran into Melissa of Sonja there. Like,
oh, we saw what's her name? Sonja?
Well, Melissa. Yeah.
But Sonja is the band, right?
And yeah.
I don't know her. We saw her open for Wayfair a couple months ago. So, yeah, I imagine there was other people there that if I had been focused and paying attention, I might have known. I was weirdly recognized, I think, by about 5 or 6 different people, which is just a strange thing. You don't really know what to say. You're like, hey, thanks, man, appreciate it. Especially if you run into somebody, like I ran into a dude that I guess I ran into at either Baltimore or Philly Tumult, and I just didn't remember the dude. He's like, hey, man, remember talking to me at Horrendous? I'm like, yeah, but I don't remember your name. I don't remember him. Sorry, dude. I just didn't remember it.
I mean, it was with that, man. Like, you know, people get complimented my shirt, but I don't think anybody recognized me. Like, I don't know if it's like maybe I got that resting bitch face or something. Like, I'm not approachable.
No, I don't think it's that. I mean, I don't think you're as on as much as I am. Maybe that might be part of it.
I don't want to be recognized.
Yeah, I gotta say, everybody that's recognized me has been ultra cool, and I don't you know, I don't have a problem with it as long as somebody's not a fucking weirdo. Don't get in my personal fucking space, which some people have a problem with that because they're drunk.
Well, you know, the day someone asks you to sign their boob, you know you've really made it. You know.
Well, and you know, depending on the boob, I'm probably all in on that. I'm just saying, Daddy, if you're watching, I apologize. Your dad is kind of a scumbag, but it's been a long time, so I haven't even seen boobs in a long time, like real boobs. So by choice, some of that's by choice because of my illness, but yeah. So as always, Rick and I are like the fucking dynamic duo of Philly. We're like Batman and Robin, or you know, I don't know who else, Lone Ranger and Tonto, you know, that kind of stuff. And we always, Rick and I get along very well. We have a lot of fun. I did feel a little bad in this show because I was up front on the rail on the barrier, and I was not leaving there. I just, you know, thankfully I didn't have to piss, which was shocking because I usually have tons of piss. I have issues with my bladder, but I think I stopped drinking early on, and that was a big thing. But I have to say, the biggest thank you moment of the night was Rick bringing me a Liquid Death water, a big can of it, because I was to the point where my, you know, like I had cotton mouth or something. I couldn't swallow because I was yelling, and it's part of my disease.
They knew what it was. I went to the counter and said, "Give me something that murders your thirst."
Yeah,
exactly what it was.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I chugged that fucking water down like nobody's business, and then about halfway home, I had to piss like a racehorse, and I had to pull off to, you know, take care of that. So the ride home was not.
It's fun. Why I keep empty Gatorade bottles in the car. You know, you just never know. People are like, why always keep these empty Gatorade bottles in your car?
I always do. Excuse me. I always do, and for some reason, I didn't this time. However, when I got to the show, I had to go so bad. I knew I was not gonna make it over to the venue from where I parked. So I dug around in the trunk and I found something that suitably worked. Rick saw it. It was like totally jerry rigged, but I had to do it because it was daytime and I couldn't just whiz it right there on the street. I mean, somebody, I would have been arrested. So I figured it out. I made it work. So
sometimes you gotta, MacGyver your own urinal.
That's exactly what I did. I MacGyvered a piss place. So, but yeah, man, just a fucking killer night. I am getting sick. I'm hoping and praying to Beelzebub. It's not COVID, but if you've been following me the last couple of months, when I went to Decibel Fest in April, that night I got very, very sick, and for 2 weeks I was just obliterated.
Just being an immune system hit because we're changing seasons. 2, you didn't sleep for 14 hours the day prior.
I didn't sleep for 12.
All that stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Now when I got home, I will say I was in so much pain and was so fatigued and tired that I was sweaty. My hair was sweaty. My shirt was sweaty. I climbed into bed and went to sleep right away. I passed out, woke up the next day at 11 o'clock. I think I got in at 3 or something. And I felt okay. I felt surprisingly okay on Sunday. Yesterday, it just hit me like a ton of. It's like when you don't work out for a long time, then you go work out, and it's that second day that kicks your ass, not the first day after. That's how it felt. Today, I'm heady, little bit of a sore throat, but not too bad. Congested, ears closed, not so much of a cough, but I don't know where this is going to go. So I loaded up on home COVID tests, and we'll see what happens. But, dude, Rick, man, I love you so much. You're a brother. We are brothers from another mother. Yours happens to be Hispanic. Mine doesn't happen to be Hispanic.
Very different. Very different mothers.
Very different, yeah. And, man, I love hanging with you, but this particular concert, I was up front, and that's where I was staying.
Like I said, it was fun until the fucking pits got going. I'm like,
yeah,
it's, I don't know, man. 20 years ago,
you didn't need to be in that. Yeah. The weird thing was for Autopsy, the pit was kind of tame. It really wasn't that bad, but for MO, it was crazy. I'm not saying it wasn't there for Autopsy, but the number of people coming over the top for MO probably was 4 times what came over for Autopsy. So, any wrap-ups, any final thoughts? Why don't you give some final thoughts, and we'll shut her down.
Well, I think I can add. What did they say? Another 20 years. Who said that?
Oh, Albert said. I said to Chris, "I've been waiting 40 years to see you," and Albert goes, "Don't worry, we'll have him back in another 35." I said, "I'll be fucking 94 years old then, dude." Chris will be 92. I don't think that's happening, man. But that's a testament to that band, because every one of those guys, I think Chris might be the youngest. I could be wrong. No, Greg's the youngest, but of those original 3 guys, they're not young dudes. I'm pretty sure Eric is around my age, or he might be 1 year younger than me or 1 year older.
I think Danny's in his 60s, actually.
Danny might be the oldest guy. He might be around 60. And I did see Danny walking around with some people that, before the show, and I almost went up to him, but I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, if he'd been by himself, I would have talked to him. But when they're with a party, you don't want to interrupt that shit. So, but, man, I don't know, man. Albert, if you happen to watch this or catch this or fall into it, or any of the Decibel people see it, man, 10 out of 10. You guys, it was a mega banger. It was fucking awesome. Thanks so much for doing that. Thanks for flying the metal flag continuously and pushing it and bringing great shows and festivals and putting out great media content.
And I feel like Immolation even gave a shout out because they got the book coming out, and they were like, Decibel felt they were worthy enough to have like these guys have been more than worthy enough, for publication, but the fact that they called that out, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, So we're starting to see these publications of these particular bands. Obituary got one. Like all these bands kind of get their because they're historical. They got a lot of history, and we want to make sure that stuff is recorded.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like before their memories go.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm very, very, very glad. No matter how much pain, I'm not going to be as happy if I got COVID, but otherwise, that might be the only potential black mark out there. I got to wait another 2 or 3 days to test, but I'm hoping it's not. I'm just hoping it's a sinus thing. But yeah, man, the guys at Decibel just know how to do it right. Thanks to those guys. Major props. Thank you to all those bands, man. I mean, all those bands just put it out there. They play great shows. They gave the audience more than their money's worth, I think. I mean, essentially, we paid less than $10 a band. I think we paid about $8 a band to see everybody. Let me see, 50. I think my ticket was $53 divided by 7. 7 times 7, 7 times 8 is 56. So less than $8 a band. I mean, come on, man. You're stealing those moments. Thank you to Chris and Greg and Ross and Bob and Steve and Brooks and Enrique and all my horrendous dudes. Love you guys. Just the great thing about these guys, all these guys, just really good people, man. I mean, at least on the outside, what you're seeing, really patient with their fans, really cool. Just good people, man. Really appreciative of the fact that they get to do what they do.
It's because these bands, why the magazine can thrive as a publication, is because there's a market for this. There's a fan base, and people are hungry for this kind of stuff, and it's a good outlet. I mean, back in the day, it's like you had all the underground zines and all the stuff that was going on. It was thriving in its own way, but this stuff is more pushed out. It's even more readily available. There's not as many publications, but then you got the accessibility. They all went online. So what happened?
Yeah. We also forgot to mention we saw Mike from Vinyl Altar. He actually talked to us. I didn't talk to me. He said hello, but he kept moving.
Yeah, the thing about him is he looks a little zoned out sometimes, but he doesn't drink. So I know it's not.
Oh, doesn't he drink? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a bit zoned out. Like his head was somewhere else. But we love Mike.
He takes edibles. Maybe he did.
Maybe, yeah. We love Mike. We love his shop. Although I didn't get over there. I just didn't have time on the trip down. It was too stressful. So, Rick, do we have any shows coming up?
Yeah,
I think we do.
I think Worm's coming back.
We're going to try to get down. Well, I have my ticket, but September 25th, I think it is. Worm and Gate Creeper at the Underground Arts.
Later in the month.
I have a ton of shows I want to see, but I just don't know. I'm hoping to go to Deicide in Baltimore on Sunday. They're with Christian and Cloak, which I like that band a lot, Cloak.
Yeah,
I love their last album. And I don't know the other band. And then, I think the 18th, thinking pretty strongly about going to see KK's Priest and Accept because they're playing locally here in Lancaster at a really nice venue. The price of the ticket's a little salty, but I watched some footage of KK's Priest. They played a show in LA last night. Gotta admit, man, they sounded really fucking good, man. Ripper sounded great. Band is super tight. They played all the really classic Judas Priest stuff. I don't know, man. I might go see that. We'll see. But
it's KK, man. Legend.
Last thing to mention is Thursday. Is that right? Man, I thought I did that on Friday. Okay, we'll double check this, but I think Thursday at 4 p.m. I've got Cammie Beverly from Oceans of Slumber coming on. They have a new album coming out, and I do some stuff for Seasons, so got her coming on. That should be cool. I know them, but I don't know them religiously, so I got a little bit of homework to do tomorrow and tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon. And yeah, man, like fuck yeah, dude. Well, we tried to get it under 1 hour. It's 2, so
yeah.
Shit happens,
A
right?
lot on the cover, man. I think we uncovered
was.
every stone of this
But
event.
thanks so much to Rick for always being my wingman. And again, to everybody that watches, I am going to do a new set of gas mask shirts soon, but I'll be honest with you, if people don't order them, it kind of doesn't make any sense for me to make them. Right now, I'm not getting any orders. I'm not being a dick. I'm not pushing. I don't ask people to super chat, although you can. Nobody does, but you can. I don't ask for donations. I don't have a Patreon. The shirt's pretty goddamn cool. I've shown it many, many times. So, we'll see if that ends up happening.
I
But
think having like an actual storefront would help. I think people would just, for some reason,
yeah.
go to something.com or whatever.
Well, I do have the Big Cartel store, which I don't have in the description, but I'll link it. But it's in all my other interviews, and nobody ever has bought ones. Nobody recently has bought one. And when I did the initial run, 10 or 11 people bought them. I gave several away. I gave a lot away as sort of like promotion to various artists that were kind to me and spent a lot of time on my channel. But the next set, I got to get some orders in, guys, to facilitate printing these up. So, all right, Rick, last words.
No, it's fun, and again, next time we do something kind of cool, we do another recap like as usual. But Decibel, as always, man, always, they do these fests and they know what they're doing. They get the right bands in, and for this time it was a 1 day affair, and not like the beer fest, where these things can go
Multiple days, yeah.
multiple days, But
speaking of multiple days and fests, the Hell's Heroes full lineup dropped today. God damn, it's a banger. God damn, it's a banger, man. Two of my favorite bands of all time are playing it. If I'm alive and can travel, your boy is going to Houston. I used to live in Houston from 76 to 80. I'm the only one in my family that's never made it back there. So I'm really hoping it happens. But to see Crimson Glory, yes, it's without Midnight, but the new guy's pretty good. I like the new song that they put out late last year. And they're working on an album. I'll probably try to get Ben back on or some of the other guys when we get closer to that happening. And the other one of my favorite bands, you know this. Anybody that knows my channel knows this. Fucking Fifth Angel is playing their first U.S. show in their history at Hell's Heroes. First live show for Fifth Angel.
wow.
I got to be there if I can be there. So that's kind of, where we're at. Hell's Heroes is killer. Decibel in Denver looks killer. Fire in the Mountains is finally back for 25. No mention of when a lineup's dropping, but that's July, I think. And man, I would love to do that. But boy, I'd say the chances of that are slim to none, but we'll see. I know Jimmy's going. I know a bunch of other people definitely going to go. So we'll see what that lineup looks like and then kind of go from there. But, so the only thing I have on tap right now is Cammie Beverly. I might do a collection update because I got a bunch of shit in. Imagine that. But we'll see how that rolls. So, and everybody, go sign up to Dreadful Minutes. His link is in the description. Rick does.
Generally boring.
Now his chops at editing video stuff is getting pretty insane. Me, I'm lazy as fuck, so I just do live stuff. But I guess I gotta one day try to do some editing, but we'll see. I think that's it, man. Hang on, Rick. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, night, everybody.